Okay, cool. We're recording. Welcome back to Greenwood Week. We are talking about staffing and capacity assessment today. Before we get started, we are going to go over some housekeeping things like every other session. But if you're new here, the platform that we're using is called Wolfram Tech. It is a Black woman-founded technology platform because all Black everything. On the left, you will find the public chat. This is where you can use, you can give any commentary you want, maybe answer questions from our presenters. We may drop links or quotable points from the presentation here. If you look at the shared notes on the left, I'm going to use this, and anybody can use this, honestly, to keep notes during the presentation. So I'll try to highlight the most pertinent things just as a shorthand notes space. And we will save this and share this with everybody as well. If you look at the shared notes, there's a few things. If you have not applied for the mini grants that we're offering to business owners for participating in Greenwood Week, please see the shared notes for that. If you have already applied, you do not have to apply again. We have everybody's application who's applied at any point leading up to now. But if you have not done so, please go ahead and submit an application for the mini grants. If you need to register for any additional sessions throughout the week, go ahead and do that. That link is also in the shared notes. And then if you have not downloaded the free planner that we're offering as part of Greenwood Week, the link to do that with the free code is also in the shared notes. The one other thing we're going to do, I'm going to share a quick little video from Eminka Belvit, who is the founder of this platform, and we will get started after that.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Wolfram Tech platform. I am Aminka Velvet, the founder and CEO of Wolfram Tech Solutions, a cloud-based web and video conferencing platform with webinar tools, collaborative rooms, and breakout rooms. We're so honored to host this year's Greenwood Week, empowering Black professionals, social activists, and entrepreneurs. I'm so excited to host this video conferencing platform. One, to showcase the powerful capabilities of the Wolfram Tech platform. Two, to highlight what Black women in tech excellence looks like. And three, to really support other efforts that are happening in our community to support our Black women, men, femme, and transgendered individuals. Thank you so much for selecting Wolfram Tech. Truly enjoy the week ahead and the days that you are going to partake in incredible workshops, in speakers, professional development, and personal development sessions. Also, too, don't forget to network. It's so important that during COVID-19, we are continuing to connect with each other. We're continuing to build relationships, whether it's for business or it's for personal. So either way, enjoy your sessions and enjoy the Wolfram Tech platform. And following the week, we look forward to you signing up for a free account. Thank you so much and enjoy your sessions. Bye.
Okay, so that was Aminka. We're going to put the presentation back up. And pass it over to Shad. Okay. All right, Shad, if you want to turn on your camera, they'll be able to see you as you present, and the floor will be yours.
Great. You're saying my camera's locked. So.
Your camera was good a minute ago, right?
Yeah, it was. It says web.
Let's see. Maybe try. Do you have a pop-up blocker on your browser? And this is a judgment-free zone, so don't feel any type of way about this. And if all else fails, I would just say refresh, Shad. Give us one moment, y'all, and we'll be starting. There we go. And then just unmute yourself.
Okay, you can see me now and hear me?
Yep, we see you and hear you.
All right, sorry about that, everybody. So, thank you for having me to Greenwood Week, the Staffing and Capacity Assessment session. My name is Shad Henderson. I'm the Director of Equity Inclusion for Neighborhood Allies. First, I just want to thank Camille, Sam Black, and the entire Greenwood leadership team for having me for this session. Neighborhood Allies is a proud supporter of Green Week, and we really just look forward to working with you in the future. So with that, I'm just going to go to the first slide. So this is a overview of the presentation. So the main focus is to form a working relationship with each other. Neighborhood Allies, we're really big on relationships. Without relationships, we really can't do our job. We can't serve our neighborhoods well. We can't serve our Black businesses well. We can't do anything well. So I really just want to have this as an opening, as a welcoming for us to be able to start that productive working relationship. Again, we already have that with Camille and Sam, but we want to expand that to all of you. And as you know, as you learn more about Neighborhood Allies, we learn more about the Black business community. We feel like we can be more effective together. So that's a general focus of the presentation. The gist of it is staffing and capacity assessment. We'll have focus questions where we can talk to each other. We can have a conversation about it. And, please just bear with me with the slides about Neighborhood Allies. Again, I want you to have a firm footing in who we are and what we do so we could better serve the Black community here in Pittsburgh. Number 3, the breakout session, just an overview of some of the questions that we want to discuss. How Neighborhood Allies can be a stronger ally to the Black business community in Pittsburgh. And more so like the small Black businesses, we really don't work with, employers that have like 25 plus employees. It's more so like 25 and below, micro businesses, if you will. That's kind of our targeted niche. And also what policies or systems level change we want to prioritize to help the Black businesses grow. Neighborhood Allies, we really do work at, the systems level in the sense that working with foundations, working with banks to aggregate capital, to provide technical assistance, to help communities in whole. We're not necessarily a direct service provider. We work with partners like Greenwood Week and other individuals that work directly with businesses, but we feel like we can bring a lot to the table. And then the third question is really around staffing capacity. Again, the focus of this session. And feel free to drop questions in the chat box. Of course, this is an open, free-flowing conversation, and we'll just keep it moving. All right, a real quick snapshot here about Neighborhood Allies. We used to be the Pittsburgh Partnership for Neighborhood Development, PP&D. The only thing I want to really say here is that we are a new organization. We relaunched as Neighborhood Allies in 2014. We brought in our president, Presley Gillespie, African-American man from Youngstown, Ohio, and he was just very intentional about diversifying our board and our staff. Our board is very diverse. I think we have like 60% women. Over the half of the board is African-American. And we just really felt like if we were going to, say things about equity, we really had to embrace it and embody the community. So, yes, Presley is super dope. He's guiding me. He's taking me under his wing, and he's committed. to helping the Black community. Challenging banks, challenging philanthropy, you name it. So again, we really see ourselves as a strong partner for the Black business community. I don't want to go too deep into detail here. Just wanted to let you know that we do work in specific neighborhoods. In the Hilltop, we focus in Belt Sewer, Allentown, and Knoxville, Homewood, Larmer, Millvale, Wilkinsburg, and the Hill District. And again, it's all based on relationships. I mean, we make grants, we bring capital, we bring technical assistance, but without working with our CDC partners, our business partners, even in government, we really can't be effective. So just wanted to give you a little snapshot of who we are. We have 13 full-time staff. We have an executive team. I focus more on equity. We have staff that are like rooted in the neighborhood, and we have staff that are focusing on our digital inclusion work. And really, that's getting computers into hands of individuals, especially during the pandemic. We did a lot of work to try to get computers into the hands of families and school children, but also our economic opportunity work and some grant programs. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So really want to provide a snapshot of this. This is really our comprehensive approach to neighborhood revitalization. It's called our Healthy Neighborhoods Framework. So the first one is market confidence. How can we build more market confidence in our neighborhoods? Realizing that our grant dollars aren't that long. So when Neighborhood Allies makes an investment, we try to leverage private capital and also public investment dollars just to make those dollars stretch. And with the intentionality that it benefits the residents and the business owners in those neighborhoods, we're really big on equitable development. Quality of life, that's connecting individuals to opportunity, really access to capital. That's something that we hear over and over again with businesses. A good friend of mine is Derek Tillman, and he was saying, Shad, I just need the capital. Just give me the capital. So that's something that we really work on. But also, we were working in Homewood with the Homewood Rushton Business Association, and they said they need capital, but they also want the community. They want to be a part of things like that to get access to technical assistance and just to network with other individuals. So the next one is neighborhood image. We know that there are tremendous people, assets in our neighborhoods, but they're often overlooked. The narrative is negative. So at Neighborhood Allies, we really try to lift up the great people, the great things that are happening in our neighborhood to change that narrative. We have 2 full-time staff that are focused on communications and storytelling. So perhaps we could even do a story on your business, on you, to lift that up. So really, again, change that narrative to show that the Black community in Pittsburgh is really doing great things. The next one is community ownership. And community ownership is not just the ownership of land and buildings, but also having residents and business owners of the neighborhood have control of the future trajectory of that neighborhood. Not just, sometimes I participate in these neighborhood revitalization efforts, and it's a developer, they have all the money already, they got site control, and they just engage the communities on a very superficial level. We want to really, transform that. Equitable development, that's really the systems change initiative. That's kind of self-explanatory. One of the great programs we have is the Real Estate Co-Empowerment Series. You may know Amasello Care, Joshua Pollard. He conducts excellent sessions on the basics of Real Estate 101. So anybody that's interested in like real estate development, property development, please let me know. We have like full-time staff that really know the ins and outs about real estate development. That'll help you from losing your shirt. And also connecting to Josh Pollard, again, with his staff on the training. And we can help individuals get access to capital as far as like the pre-development stuff, if it's architectural renderings, site acquisition, things of that nature. That's something that we can help with. This is just a snapshot of the pictures from the Real Estate Co-Empowerment Series, dynamic bunch. And we have more classes in the pipeline. So again, please let me know if you're interested in those classes. Looks like what neighborhoods we're all in. So yeah, Beltsuver, Allentown, Knoxville, the Hill District, Walmart, Homewood, Millville, and Wilkinsburg. But for some of our services, like if you needed assistance for real estate development, that's not place-based. That's wherever. I mean, particularly we want to work in neighborhoods that are trying to turn the corner. We're not going to, do work in, Squirrel Hill or anything like that. But pretty much it's a regional footprint. All right. This is our economic opportunity initiatives. The only thing I really want to focus on here is that our financial empowerment centers, we work with about 12 certified, 10 to 12 certified financial experts that can help you with restoring your credit, managing your debt, applying for loans, you name it. They're excellent. They're certified. They're top notch. I've actually worked with one before. She was phenomenal. She worked with my wife, and she really, helped us to lessen our debt burden. So I would encourage you, if you're interested in working with a financial counselor, please reach out to our financial employment centers. So I wanted to share this because this is our response from the coronavirus, and I was really proud of that because really we just adapted and shifted a lot of our programs to focus on the coronavirus response. So one thing I wanted to mention is our Get Online, Grow Online program. That's managed by my colleague, Demi Kolke. It's a partnership with the URA. So what it is, we have consultants and we have staff that can help small businesses to have a stronger online presence, to market their materials, but to also make online financial transactions. Of course, a lot of storefronts closed, and this was a unique need that we tried to fill. And it's going great. We got a lot of people in the program, but one of the things that we found out is that we just need more flexible capital for small businesses. And I know Camille is already doing that, and we see a need for it too, and we want to invest in it. What we see is just capital that's needed for small businesses to work with an accountant, to do a P&L, resources to maybe work with a grant writer that can help with a grant. Really just flexible funding with no strings attached. It sounds very obvious, but we feel like there's a need in that system. So you'll be hearing more about that in the next coming months. Also, the Paycheck Protection Program. That's something where we helped about 15 small businesses. Either all of them were either minority owned or women owned, and it was hard for a lot of small businesses to get access to the money at the Paycheck Protection Program. But we formed a partnership with First Commonwealth Bank, where they prioritized the applicants that we worked with. So we were, again, able to help about 15 businesses, some of them private, some of them nonprofit, but they were able to get the resources to the Paycheck Protection Program. And we want to keep that going, that hand-holding assistance, if you will, that one-on-one technical assistance to help our small businesses. Again, I want to give you a background of Neighborhood Allies. We'll get into the staffing and capacity assessment, so please continue to bear with me. So one of the things I want to talk about was racial equity. And you may say, well, Shad, we're talking about staffing and capacity assistance. Why are we talking about racial equity? And you'll see it's just a core component of what we do. We did a racial equity training a couple of days ago at Neighborhood Allies, and we found out in every system in America there are racial disparities. Whether you talk about education, whether you talk about health, you talk about banking, the child welfare system. Racism is in the air or the water of our country, unfortunately. And if we don't have that intentionality to undo it, then our businesses and our families and our residents will continue to suffer. So I want to talk a little bit about that so we as a collective community can really address those solutions at scale so all of our businesses are thriving. What are the eligibility requirements for the Get Online, Grow Online? There's not a lot of strings attached or guidelines to that program. If I can get your information, I'll make sure you're connected to Demi, who's running that program. Again, we target small minority businesses. There's really no restrictions beyond that. farming. Yes. All right. So this is our basic framework in regards to racial equity. Shout out to PolicyLink who really came up with this. And these are the principles we try to have within our organization, but we feel like it applies across the board. So with any given program, analysis of the racial barriers. So for Black businesses, the analysis of racial barriers, we know that again, access to capital, that's huge. Access to contracts, things like that. So for neighborhood allies, we have to be very intentional about doing that. I see a lot of programs where it's like kind of superficial, like, yeah, we want to help Black businesses and minority businesses, but if you don't really analyze those barriers, forget about it. The next one, the leadership of community residents. And it's not just community residents. Again, for this instance with the Black businesses, we want to have relationships with you as the leaders of it. We won't be effective if we're downtown in our office coming up with these ideas that we think are great. Again, my friend Derek Tillman called me out on that. He was just like, Shad, just give me the access to capital and get out my way. I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. But then some other businesses, again, they want more than just capital. They want technical assistance. So for us, for neighborhood allies, we want to engage with the full spectrum to figure out how we can best provide assistance. Disaggregated data, again, we don't want to just provide these blanket programs that we think are effective and it doesn't help our community. There are some programs that may be more beneficial to white folks, honestly, that won't help us. So again, we want to be very prescriptive and focused on what really can move the needle in improving our community. So I don't want to go through too much of this. I mean, you can see it and we can get these slides out to you. But I just wanted to, emphasize that we are rooted in racial equity. And also, again, neighborhood allies working at the systems level, we really try to make impact at scale. Again, we're not a direct service provider. So just like, say, like I'm just throwing out a random number. There's 5,000 small Black business owner in Pittsburgh. We want to be able to enact policies and gather capital that could improve the business outcomes of those businesses, and not necessarily just a one-on-one basis. That's not how we're designed. So we really work at the population level. And for the sake of this conversation, I really want to focus on an indicator as far as revenue generation by firms. This slide I'll show you, you'll just see that for us as Black businesses, we're not raking in the revenue as we should, as you know. And a lot of it's no fault to our own, is from discrimination, practices like that. So again, we're very interested in working with you to come up with these policies and these solutions and this system change that could really move the needle at scale. And then, once we do that, we could prioritize our strategies. So moving right along here, this is the slide. I hope you can see it, but if not, I'll just read the bottom of it. And this is from 2012. This is the National Equity Atlas from PolicyLink. So in 2012, Black-owned firms in all industries took in an average of $63,000 in Pittsburgh, compared with Indian-owned firms, which had the largest revenue, and theirs was a little over $1 million. And you can see, compared to whites or all other populations, we're trailing behind. Again, not largely to a fault of our own. So neighborhood allies, we're really interested where you see like 3 bars down, the Black community or Black businesses. How do we get that moving in the right direction? Again, that's why we want to work with you to figure that out, to help our economy grow and just to help our community in general. So these are some of the drivers of inequity that we've identified along with PolicyLink. Again, access to capital and contracts, and also knowing that we've been denied business loans 3 times higher than white firms. So is it like, advocating to banks to improve their lending practices? And also banks typically don't take into consideration individuals who are paying their rent on time, or just paying rent in general as a means to improve their credit score. And that's something that we're looking at as a policy solution. So the last one, networks and training programs. Again, initiatives like this are very important. Moving on to the right, the strategies for equitable growth. Dedicated technical assistance to businesses, more access to contracts, more access to affordable office and commercial space. And some of this was, before COVID. Access to affordable office space and commercial space may not be as important as it once was, but it's still a consideration. So just wanted to, again, share that with you to let you know where we're thinking, how we could make more solutions at scale. All right, so that was about neighborhood allies. Now we can really go into this focused conversation about staffing and capacity assessment. So this is a framework ideas that I got from neighborhood allies staff who are really the experts in small business development. Again, I'm more on the equity side, but we have like 3 or 4 staff that just really live and breathe small business development, and I'm happy to connect you with them. But these are some tips and some questions that they provided me with that I wanted to share with you. So on the left-hand side, the quick capacity assessment, I really want to start off with the bottom one where it says, make sure your business can afford to grow in size, keep your budget in mind. That's fairly obvious, but I think it's worth stating. The quote from Mr. Finkel, hire only as your business can afford to pay new hires. So going up to the top, are you losing time on non-essential tasks, spending a lot of time on administrative duties rather than critical revenue generating activities and long-term planning? That may be a sign that it's time to bring on staff or a contractor, and we'll talk about that on the next side of the slide. Is customer service suffering? Has there been a spike in customer service complaints? Are you able to provide stellar customer service? Again, these are just things to consider before you make that hire. Red flags, increased stress levels, lack of attention to detail, more call-offs from your staff, if you have staff. I mean, if you or your staff are getting sick, those are warning signs that you don't want to ignore. But again, making sure that you can really afford to hire a staff person. So moving on to the next side of the slide, employer or contractor considerations. We have the 3 broad headings, work performance, taxes, and intellectual property. These aren't all the considerations. This is just a snapshot. And once we get into the questions, I would love to hear more feedback from you about things that should also be taken into consideration. So as far as work performance, if you hire employee, the benefits, you have greater control of the work product. And you can determine like when staff work, where they work, but it also is an increase in operating costs, whether it be office space, equipment, etc. With contractors, you have less control of the work product and where they work, but it's less expensive. You have less overhead, if you will. With taxes, with employees, you have to have the withholdings, whether it be local, state, federal income, Medicare, you name it, the whole alphabet soup of taxes that you have to take into consideration. With contractors, on the other hand, it's less of a responsibility. They do say here they're responsible for withholding and paying their taxes, but if you pay a contractor more than $600 in 1 year, you have to hit them with a 1099. So that's something that you want to take into consideration. With intellectual property, the copyright states that works created by an employee is owned by the employer. But with a contractor, it is critical that you get a copyright transfer. If you don't, also a contractor will own the copyrights of the work. So again, that's just a snapshot. Of course, you may want to work with an attorney in regards to like intellectual property, but something to keep in mind. So Greenwood, be mindful of it if you need an employer or contractor for this job. Yep. Okay. So that was the capacity assessment. So now we were going to do breakout group discussions, but really we just think it's better just to have an open conversation. So these are the three questions that I want to propose to help with the conversation. So based upon what you know, how can neighborhood allies be a stronger ally to the Black business community in Pittsburgh? What policies or systems level change should be prioritized in order to help Black businesses to grow? What barriers need to be dismantled? And then the final one, in regards to staffing and capacity, are there any additional considerations small businesses should take into account before hiring more staff? So we don't have to start from the top and go, to the bottom. If there's anything that strikes you with these questions, or just with the presentation in general, I would love to hear from you.
And you all, at this segment, you can feel free to unmute your mics and turn off your cameras if you want to say something a little more in depth. We'll talk about your experience, talk about anything, ask Shad a question. You can feel free to turn your mics on, turn your cameras on, and jump in.
Hi, Shad. This is Isis Chapman. Quick question. I do understand that in order to qualify for a lot of the initiatives that you are, of course, I've been following you all for a while, you do have to have your business established in one of those neighborhoods. So my pet peeve is that I provide services to children in all of those areas, but I never qualified for the services that you all offer because my actual physical location of the building is in Penn Hills.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like that's something that could it could help Black businesses, like particularly those of us who are providing services to the people who live in those areas.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that, Ms. Chapman. So yeah, we are at a point now where we realize helping small businesses, it just can't be limited to the physical boundaries of those neighborhoods. Helping small Black businesses, again, we are at a point now where we're ready to expand that. We can't just help small Black businesses in Homewood and Larmer. It's beyond that. So I would just say, please, if I could get in contact with you, I want to place you in contact with Demi from our staff and also Stephanie, because we have a focus now of helping small businesses within our region. But that was a great question.
Thank you. I'll put my email address in the chat. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And Shad, this is Camille. I have a question about neighborhood allies is pretty good with like walking people through. Do you all have any resources or connections for people who need to really have like a plan of action written down to grow capacity, like put together strategies for capacity building in order to expand their business size?
Honestly, we don't. And I say that because the small business development ecosystem in Pittsburgh, I mean, I don't know if it's crowded, but there's a lot of players out there. And we're trying to really figure out who does it well, especially with our Black businesses. I mean, we want to be able to be that referral, provide resources, but, whether it be like this Pitt Small Business Development Center, Duquesne, New Sun Rising, there's a lot of people out there who are doing that. And we're really trying to figure out, like, okay, who's doing what well. And it's not like all of it. It may be like, okay, if I just need help getting incorporated, the best organization to go to is A. But if I'm really at the growth stage, it's B. And we're not there yet. I mean, again, we want to invest in those programs that are providing support, but we just don't know yet. And I would love to, continue to work with you, have these conversations with this group to really figure out like who's out there doing it well in the small business support ecosystem. in microcare, what are some of the difficulties your org faces? These resources and information. I would say maybe a difficulty is we just want a greater connection to the Black businesses in Pittsburgh. I mean, that's why we value this partnership with the Greenwood leadership team so much. You know, because we have made some strides. I mean, we've made great investments into RCI. You may know Juan Garrett. He has this program called BizFit, which was tremendous in helping contractors to grow their business and to focus on their specialty. So we made some headway there, and also helping small businesses, developers on the redevelopment of Center Avenue in the Hill District. Glenn Grayson from our team and a few others, they helped small businesses to apply their application to the URA so they can get site control and to have business plans in place and developments plans in place, but they needed access to capital. So it's like we were able to get the businesses like halfway down the field, but now it's like we're kind of like frozen. Like, how do we get more access to capital, whether it be like Bridgeway Capital, your PNCs, or things of that nature. So I would say unlocking capital is a big challenge for us. How do you advertise and market your services? A lot of our marketing and advertising is social media and also on our website. But that's pretty much it. I'm definitely open for ideas of how we can better market our services to let more folks know that we're out here. Diane, we need the legal aspect. Yes, I wouldn't say, again, we not directly, but the fund that we are developing that is flexible. So if you need legal assistance, accounting assistance, we just get you the resources so you can get that professional technical assistance. And I believe Camille is working on that too. So, I mean, that's how we can help.
Hi, Shad. So how would we get in touch with, like, you guys have helped us so much, through grants, but also getting our website, making it better, basically, through the GROW program. What was that program called? I can't think of it, but through them, GROW Online, that program. But
Sure.
how would we go about getting technical assistance, like with accounting? You just mentioned.
You said technical assistance with the county. I would say I'll just follow up with you. I don't know if my email. I could put my email in the chat, but of course you have it. Please.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, reach out to me directly, and we'll make sure it happens. And
Thank you.
I'm put my email in the chat for other folks.
And then Shad, can you speak to like how that financial piece, like what you may have seen with capacity building when it comes to access to capital? Like, have you seen a company get access to capital and then be able to scale, to a point where they could hire more folks and pay for technical assistance, pay for attorney fees? Can you speak to any experience like that?
No, I mean the example that comes to mind is just Big Tom's Barbershop on Center Avenue, where Glenn's work, he was able to help Tom site control of that building right there on Center Avenue, and was able to get resources to like do some pre-development, but there's still a huge gap, and that's, I guess, just being honest, that's something we're working with. And I would say local philanthropy is interested in that too. But local philanthropy, they're really like, okay, we can't provide direct resources to private businesses. So what is the workaround, if you will? You know, is it a separate fund that the foundations could capitalize and then private businesses, black businesses can get access to? That's kind of where we're at right now in our thinking. As far as like a successful business that I'm thinking about, um, nothing jumps to mind. Again, we typically don't work directly with businesses. It's more so like BizFit, um, folks like that. And RTI, they did a great job with the BizFit program. I don't know the names on top of my head, but it was about 6 or 7 different contractors that after they went through the training program, they were able to get access to capital. They were able to get additional contracts. So yeah, I would say the BizFit is probably like this.
Now, I will say this, like to the point you just made about the foundation community and the philanthropic community, because this is an issue that a lot of people have. While not everybody is a nonprofit, a lot of these businesses do social good. So a lot of for-profit businesses have components to their business that significantly improve the quality of life for families, especially in Black neighborhoods. But the philanthropic community and the foundation community generally will say things like they don't fund operating costs. You have to be a nonprofit to get the funds. That's the type of workaround that we definitely need, because a lot of these businesses deserve the capital to expand the work that they do because it is such good work.
I completely agree. I'm with you. I mean, they're just more likely to hire people from our community. That's like improving the quality of life, and it's just like greater Black business ownership. I just think is the best growth strategy in general. So I'm with you totally. Looking forward to working with you to really shape those workarounds, if you will, or that policy change where they could fund more of our businesses either directly or indirectly. And I think there's more of an appetite for it now. Honestly, I do. It's not completely there, but it's moving in the right direction, I think.
Sorry, Shad, I'm going to answer Kiamber's question in here. She asked if those would be benefit corporations. You have to be of a certain size. There's another designation, though, for it. And Quintara is in here. Quintara can probably answer that question better than I can. But there are some businesses that can have that benefit corporation status, and it allows them to do certain things. The other thing you can do is have a fiscal sponsor, which is generally a nonprofit who vouches for you. And all of the funds would funnel through them, and they would disseminate funds to your business for whatever initiative. Yeah. But a B Corp is like one that most people can think of is Tom's, right? So Tom's shoes, you buy a pair of shoes and a pair of shoes gets donated to a child in need. So that's the type of B Corp, but I think you have to be of a certain size in order to be classified as a B Corp. Like if I'm a solopreneur, I'm likely not going to register as a B Corp because that comes with all types of extra fees, filing, and everything else.
So I was maybe ask a question. Is there again? I was saying like the small business ecosystem seems to be kind of I don't want to say crowded, but there's a lot of people out there, and I've actually referred small business owners to support providers, and it didn't work out too well. And so, is there any small business assistance providers that are out there that are really doing it well? And again, not just everything. Maybe like there's an organization like, hey, they really helped me to get my incorporated, and this one really helped me with capacity. So I would really, like to hear your recommendations, and maybe I can meet with them and form a relationship. Anybody out there that's really doing it well?
Hey, Shad, I have a question for you. I'm not sure if you can answer this thing with an organization, but like, how do you think like a person would know as a small business if they are ready? Like, what are the steps to determine whether or not you're ready for new staff to come on board to like your projects or your events or anything like that?
How you're ready? I don't know if I can answer that specifically. I would just say, this quick capacity assessment that I provided on this one slide, I think that'll help get the gears moving, if you will, or thinking about the right things to say if you're ready. The main thing I had lifted up here was your budget. Hire only as your business can afford to pay new hires. That sounds very like obvious, but I think sometimes when business owners, they can be like kind of stretched thin, and they just decide to like hire an employee, and it may be better to hire a contractor. It's more affordable, and it could be more on a short term basis. So yeah, that's my best response to that question.
Do we have any other questions in the chat? Oh, it looks like somebody's typing. It looks like a few people are typing. I'm just giving them a little bit of time to finish asking what it is that they're asking. So the question from Brianna, it said, did your organization offer a grant to assist small businesses during the pandemic?
Yeah, we were. It was a partnership with the URA. I don't know if those grants have been exhausted yet, but Brianna, I don't know if you want to send me your email address. I'll be happy to get you in contact with Jimmy from our team to see if those grant dollars are still available. And if there was like something like specific in mind, like did you mean just like keeping the doors open operations, or was there something specific that you looking for grant dollars for? Yes, again, working with small businesses, we just don't work with the small businesses in our neighborhoods. It's more of a regional, or I would say city or county focus of how we're trying to help small Black businesses. And as far as neighborhoods, that's more like when we're doing like affordable housing projects, those are targeted to those neighborhoods. Main Street revitalization, those are place-based initiatives. But helping small businesses, yeah, it's pretty much the city in Allegheny County. Can I open or move a business in these neighborhoods? I mean, it's possible. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. If the building is privately owned or publicly owned, resources that may be needed to rehab it. I would say that we do have a team. It's called our Centralized Real Estate Accelerator, and they can help you from A to Z, whether it be to help locate the right property, helping to get the finances straight, the architectural renderings, things like that. So I would say definitely we can help with that if you're interested in purchasing and redeveloping a property in one of our neighborhoods.
Hi, it's Queba again. So you said you have an architect. So we're using a space for the cooperative grocery store in Homewood.
Mm-hmm.
And we have funding for renovations, but we're leasing the space. So we don't own the space, which we really should eventually, but it won't be that particular space in Homewood. Would your architect still help if we're leasing the space?
Yeah, and we don't have our own architect. I mean, we have a pool of architects that we can connect you to. So I guess the URA owns that building, I'm guessing?
No, it's privately owned. It's the House of Manna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They did offer us space too. The URA did offer us space as well.
no, that's something that we can definitely help with. Absolutely.
Okay. I'll definitely reach out to you. Thank you.
Yep. So Sam, come here. There's a lot of email. Is there a way I could get? How should I save these emails? Should I just copy and paste them, or you can maybe send them to me?
So what I do,
Oh, go ahead.
that's it. I'll just copy and paste them in the shared notes, and I always download the shared notes after each session, and I can get that over to you.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. In my opinion, what are the problems that are deterring the progression of our minority business ecosystems and possible solutions? Again, the one that I hear all the time is access to capital, to banks. And again, that's the one I hear all the time. That's like top priority number one. And then I would say number two is unlocking contracts at major institutions, at University of Pittsburgh, UPMC, things of that nature. So I'm not a business owner, but those that I do know and those that I engage with, that's the main thing. And then developers too, they would say, access to capital, but also access to like architects and designers and things of that nature. So that's what we're doing right now. We're creating this pool of architects and designers that we could provide access to small developers, but along with that is the funding for the small development, the pre-development work.
So something else that I've noticed too, specifically around that question that Mike just asked, is there are some programs being put in place to prepare people for those larger contracts. So they do capacity building at various organizations to help people. Like the Hill CDC is very good about this. In order to ensure equitable development, all of the large projects that they have coming up, they have these cohorts where they train people and help them build capacity in order to take on some of the larger contracts. Because a big part, especially for construction and development work, people may have small teams, they may use subcontractors and things of that nature, but if you have a multi-million-dollar project, they just do not have the size of like a Mystic or one of the larger construction firms to take on that type of work. So a lot of the times, some of the developers, not our developers, but larger developers who come into our neighborhoods can generally get off with saying, we couldn't find any Black companies or minority companies to do this work. So all of the contracts get shifted off to some larger white firm. But I know that there are some organizations that do have programs set up to help you do business with them. Pitt is one of those too. I think they are starting a program where they're gonna like doing business with Pitt, and they'll tell you exactly what it is that you have to have in place in order to be a contractor for them. Or, if you're a caterer, what needs to be in place in order for you to do large catering contracts with the University of Pittsburgh. Good job, Kiamber, using the shared notes.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
And then, Shad, did you have a slide after this one?
No, this was pretty much it.
Okay, let me see. We talked about this earlier, but we do have our mini grant, so I can get ready to do that if you want to wrap up and tell everybody any kind of closing remarks you have for Neighborhood Allies and the work that you all are doing.
No, well, again, I appreciate your leadership, your Sam's leadership, and just Greenwood Week in general. This is extremely important. Thank you for having me. Again, this was just like an introduction to Neighborhood Allies for some of you who don't know us. And again, we want to build that working relationship to figure out how we can best serve the business community. And feel free to reach out to me. Again, I'm not the small business expert. With Neighborhood Allies, we do have a team, and they're willing and able to help, whether it be for financial assistance, as a referral partner, you name it. We're here to help. So again, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Shad. And even if this is not your point of expertise, you can speak on behalf of Greenwood Week by saying that Neighborhood Allies is an amazing partner to have. They were the first people to tell us yes when we went after funds, and it was a significant amount of money. And they basically trusted us to do exactly what it is that we're doing for you all now. So I would say keep in contact with Shad, keep following up with folks at Neighborhood Allies, because they really are great partners to have.
Thank you, Camille. Appreciate that.
No problem.
So do I exit the screen or you do that?
Well, you can leave it up if you want to, in case any other questions come up. If people want to, follow any of the social tags, and then I'm going to let me see here. Naomi, do you mind playing some traveling music? We're gonna pull 5 names for mini grants. You want to stick around for that, Shad?
Yes.
All right.
Traveling music?
I mean, you know what I mean. Like, give us some
Cafe music.
Okay, whatever.
A little bit of Ab Soul.
Mm-hmm. All right, are y'all ready? Because I think I'm ready. Okay, let's call these names out. So if I say your name, you are one of the recipients of the mini grants through Greenwood Week. I guess I should turn my camera on, huh? Okay. All right. Gwendolyn Lane. Is Gwendolyn in this session? Gwendolyn. Okay. Diane Lemon. Diane, yep, I saw Diane. Who's Tamar's friend? Because this name keeps getting called, but I haven't seen this person in here yet. Ginger. Ginger. Yeah, Ginger's here. I see you, Ginger. Whitfield. Oh, you got called already, didn't? No, you didn't, Patience. Did you? Oh, nope. Patience Winfield. Are you in here, Whitfield? No, but Patience was in here the other day, and I remember she was in here.
She was here this morning.
Yeah, so she's good for that. We did Gwendolyn, but Gwendolyn's not here, right? I'm tired, y'all. Okay. Diane's here. Ginger's here. Patience was here earlier. Let's do 2 more. Is Maurice here? No, I'm not sure who Maurice is. J. Lee Lemon. Lemon family, y'all don't be stealing extra money. Okay. Y'all got 2 separate businesses? Let me look at this thing. Okay, all right. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all too. Go family. And then Holly who's Holly? I think Holly was here for a session too. So I'm gonna put her name in here. She was here earlier in the week. It's y'all's birthday. Happy birthday. Oh, what a birthday gift. All right. Diane and Jay Lee, Ginger, Patience, and Holly. That's 5. So we have 5. Congratulations, y'all. Congratulations to everybody. Remember, we're going to give out 5 every session. So if you didn't get anything just yet, there's still a bunch of opportunities. So that's that. Sam, you didn't do your congratulatory stuff. What's up? Okay.
That's all I got. I'm tired too. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't do your dance.
It's hump day, but in like it's a different type of hump day right now. All right. Yeah, I think that's everything. Shad, you're good. You guys got all of the information that you need. I'm going to export our notes so that I can send that out to everybody. We're gonna hit stop recording. And I think we both hit it at the same time.